Thank you very much, Mr. Chair. I trust you can hear me all right. But I do appreciate the very warm Canadian welcome to your committee here this morning. I believe it likely started with a request by myself and a number of other premiers to appear before the Finance Committee, and I believe that request still stands, and we hope to hear back from them. And I think this is an important conversation for each of us as elected members, as next Monday we are going to see the carbon tax increase to a level that was previously never committed to achieve. When at its introduction, and I think that's important for us to just think about the words that we should never say never in this nation. Never say never. And I was at that meeting many years ago in Montreal, where there was a commitment made to go to a $50 carbon tax, and since then what we've seen is commitments to go much higher than that. But I would point more recently to July 15th in 2020 to some statements made by our Bank of Canada governor, and I quote, "Our message to Canadians is that interest rates are very low and they're going to be there for a long time." He goes on to say, if you've got a mortgage or you're considering making a major purchase, or you're a business and considering making an investment, you can be confident that rates will be low for a long time. Again, I would say never, because so much has happened since that point in time, July 15th, 2020. What that did is really provide a confirmation bias for some poor policy decision and enhancing or advancing continued poor policy decision, taking the carbon tax from 50 to a committed 170 now and beyond. Of which we will discuss here today, and our ask is to pause the increase that is coming on Monday, but also the development of clean electricity standards, clean fuel standards, which is really a second carbon tax, the methane 75 standards, which are unachievable, the oil cap.
Mr. Chair, a point of order. I don't mean to interrupt the Honourable Premier, but I do have a point of order here.
You are interrupting, though.
Mr. Kazmierczak, the Premier just has a couple minutes left. Could we let him finish?
I am, but what I would like to, excuse me, Premier, I have a point of order.
Sorry, Premier, let me interrupt you. I'll freeze the time.
I'd like to speak on behalf of Saskatchewan residents.
Thank you, Premier, and we're eager to hear from you. I just have a point of order that I'd like the Chair to clarify. We have been asked to study, specifically, this committee has been asked to study about 12 vote ones, okay? Including the Canada Post Corporation vote regarding the Canada School of Public Service.
Could you get to the point of order, Mr. Kazmierczak?
Could you explain to us the relevance of the 12 votes that we have been assigned to consider? Because I don't see this particular subject matter connected in any way, shape, or form to the 12 votes that this committee has been asked to study. We are not the Finance Committee. We are the OGGO Committee. We have been asked to study 12 votes. I'm happy to answer that, Mr. Kazmierczak. How does that relate to what we've been asked to study? Thank you. I appreciate that.
We always allowed a very wide range of questioning on the estimates and the supplementary estimates. The carbon tax raise is included in the main estimates, and therefore that's part of it. So I'll allow our Premier Moe to continue.
And very much, I think, important to Canadians, as this is one of the policies, and they are stacking, that is making life more unaffordable for not only Saskatchewan residents, but all Canadians as a whole. It's making industries less competitive. Those are industries that employ people in my community and quite likely in yours as well. And it is really showing no measurable impact when it comes to reducing emissions. And I would just point to the inflationary aspect of the carbon tax specifically today. And that was when the latest consumer price index came out. Saskatchewan today is at 1.7%, down under the 2% projected target that the Bank of Canada had hit, 1 full point lower than the Canadian average. And Statistics Canada had said specifically that was due to a decision that the Saskatchewan government made to remove the carbon tax from home heating. And so you can imagine what would happen to our CPI nationwide if we were to pause, first of all, and then remove the consumer carbon tax on Canadians. And I would say, where does this bring us today when we think about never saying never? Today, that same Bank of Canada over the last 2 years has increased our interest rates on 10 different occasions. Just this week, they have declared that Canada is in a productivity emergency. And I would say that we don't need to accept this moving forward. We can make changes. Never say never. there is another way, and Saskatchewan has been working towards that way for some time. The Bank of Canada had also indicated that there needs to be investment brought into our nation. We're second in the nation when we compare on per capita provincial investment today. We're up 25% last year, projected to be first this coming year with another 14% increase. And we need to, I think, all Canadians encourage just that investment, that competitive investment environment in each of our provinces and more broadly across the nation. There are opportunities for us then to take that investment in innovation and share it through commerce with the rest of the world, share it through Article 6 of the Paris Accord, for example, which this government signed and of which I worked on as environment minister with one of the previous environment ministers. Article 6, I think, is an opportunity for us to create policies that allow for that investment, and then in turn share those investment innovations with the rest of the world through commerce by employing Canadians in my community and yours, and utilizing some of the tools that we have, such as Article 6. And so there is another way. Never say never. And we need to ensure that we are looking at some of our competitive environment, those that are employing and creating wealth in our communities across this nation, to ensure that we're providing that platform to attract that capital investment, to attract those jobs, and ultimately to provide that opportunity for Canada to not be in a state where we're in a productivity emergency, but are in a state where we are leading the world with the productivity that we are experiencing as Canadians. That's traditionally, I think, what we all would like to achieve. And I hope that we would find some consensus on that today. And again, I wore my red tie in the spirit of collaboration. I wear it to our Council of Federation meetings where we come together as you know, from different political backgrounds and different political stripes. But we come together with an effort and an initiative to, you know, find a consensus on behalf of the Canadians that we collectively represent at that table. And I would say that this is an opportunity for all of us, those that are in the minority government that we have today and in opposition, to do what is in the best interest of Canadians, not just for today, but into the future as well, when it comes to creating jobs and sharing some of the sustainable innovations that have been invested on already in our nation, and enhancing the opportunity for additional investment into just those innovations in the industries that we do well. Because the fact of the matter is this, and this is from a Saskatchewan perspective: we produce food, fuel, and fertilizer, and we produce not only the highest quality, most affordable food, fuel, and fertilizer that you can find in the world, and we produce it for over 150 countries around the world. We produce the most sustainable food, fuel, and fertilizer that you can find on Earth. And I think that's something for each of us to remember: is never say never. We can always do better, and we should be making every effort to do that around this table on behalf of the folks that we represent. Thank you.
Thank you.